And you're welcome back. We start off with the fight against illegal mining. Chinese businesswoman Aisha Huang, accused of illegal mining, may have to spend a few more days in police custody as trials continue over charges that Aisha, together with her Chinese counterparts, were mining in this country without licenses. This afternoon, of course, there was a packed court when both Attorney General Godfrey Adami and Minister for Justice, as well as the Lands and Natural Resources Minister Samuel Abojinapo, stormed the High Court to lead government's effort in the prosecution of Aisha Huang, who's been nicknamed the Galamsey Queen. So let's get more from Kweku Asante, my colleague who's been monitoring events in court for us today. And Kweku, we need to start off with the issue about the proceedings. Why did we first of all see such a high representation in terms of government appointees showing up in court, and what was the purpose really?
Indeed, so it was a bit of a surprise when we saw that the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources was in court, as well as the Attorney General. In previous times when these matters have gone to court, we've had only senior state attorneys representing the state. But today the case was different. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources was there, as well as the Attorney General himself, also flanked by some senior state attorneys, as well as a lot of other junior lawyers from his chambers, the Attorney General's chambers. So it was a bit of a surprise. But the inkling we are getting is that this is supposed to send a signal that, listen, this is something that government at the highest level is very much interested in, and government is going to use all arsenal at its disposal to fight through the courts to ensure that persons like Aisha Huang and all other persons who are accused of engaging in illegal mining are dealt with law.
And we know that when proceedings were about to start, that attempt was made again by counsel for Aisha to press home that demand for her release, at least for her to move out of police custody as the trial continued. But we're getting a stern position from the judge who's supervising or superintending over this very matter.
Right. So,
what's the position of the judge on that constant appeal from the lawyers of Aisha that she needs to be granted bail?
Right. So now the case has been divided into, it used to be Aisha Huang and 4 others. The Republic versus Aisha Huang and 4 others. Now it's the Republic versus Aisha Huang as a single case. Then there's the Republic versus the 4 other persons, their accomplices. And I'm certain you'll come there. That is where Freddie Blake comes in. So Aisha Huang, the Republic versus Aisha Huang, was when the case started, there wasn't much of a business to be done today. So the Attorney General indicated that they had filed some 4 witness statements and they were intending to add 4 more. But what they wanted to do was to withdraw the first 4 and file an 8 altogether. So without any opposition, the court allowed that, okay, you can do that. But just when the court was about to adjourn for another date, the lawyer for Aisha Huang, Krabia Ifadate, got on his feet and said that he was applying for bail and that he wanted to know if the judge was amenable to considering that plea. But just when he stood up and started making the application, he was shot down. The judge was like, no, calm down. What are you talking about? It was only a few weeks that you came here. You made an application for bail. I refused that application for bail. So why are you making it again? Let me quote exactly what the judge said.
Yeah, that's very important.
The judge said, my mind has not changed. You can make the application and I will still refuse you. That was something that
so that's a clear statement
in court.
Indicating what the position of the court may be moving in the coming days if further
applications for bail are made.
Right.
And so that indication was given that, listen, the accused persons have to come to court all the time. Indeed, when we get to the other case, the judge made a number of pronouncements that show that the court clearly is taking much of a serious stance against.
But even before we get to the other accomplices and what their fate may be, you're treating this as 2 separate cases. So that's it for Aisha Huang. But there was a big surprise also in court aside Samuel Abojinapo, the Attorney General. We're getting to learn that, of course, the immediate past, I need to be describing, the immediate past chairperson of the governing New Patriotic Party was in court today. Right. What was his mission?
So when the proceedings opened for that second case was called, one lady introduced herself as a clever Blay, and that she was holding the brief of the former NPP national chairman, Freddie Blake, just to announce to the court that there's been some change of plans and that when it came to those 4 accomplices, they will now be represented by the former NPP national chairman.
Okay, so his
Freddie
name
Blay.
came up in court.
So he was not present today.
Right.
But at the next sittings, it is clear that Freddie Blay is now taking over the case. That specific four accomplices aspect of this case from Nkrabea Ifadate. Whilst Nkrabea Ifadate will continue representing Aisha Huang, Freddie Blay, NPP national chairman, former, is now about to represent these four other accused persons. So a clever Blay was the one who held the brief for Freddie Blay today, clearly because Freddie Blay had to be elsewhere.
And from checks, do we know if this has been done as part of the institutional representation? Well, of course, these four others may be operating mining firms who are then retaining the immediate past chairperson of the NPP as their counsel, or whatever the case may be.
So indeed, it is very interesting. We do not know yet what their strategy is for these defense counsels and why they want to do this, why they want to split up these teams and do all that they have to do. But it is clear that, listen, looking at the kind of counsels they are retaining, it is clear how they see this panning out. And if you have a former national chairman of the New Patriotic Party, he just left office this year, few months back, representing persons accused of illegal mining, it tells you the kind of inkling that Aisha Huang and the accomplices are getting in terms of the kind of lawyers. So I did put out that question to the Attorney General. He said that, well, Freddie Blay is a lawyer. He's allowed to take whatever case he wants to take. But as far as he is concerned, it's about to give the state that kind of representation, kind of make that forceful case that illegal mining is not something we take kindly to. So let me tell you, when this case was called, a clever Blay tried to make an application for bail as well. This time around, it was flatly refused again. And let me read what the justice said, and that is Justice Lydia Osema. She said, these people are foreigners who do not have sufficient financial or social ties within the jurisdiction of this court. And as we know in this country, people usually do not need any passport to exit if they are minded to leave. And considering the severity of the punishment the accused persons will suffer if they are found guilty, I have sufficient belief that when granted bail, they will not appear before court to stand trial. All accused persons refuse bail and remanded into prison custody until 1st November when
So their case appears to be worse off, even if you are comparing that to what it is that the case may be for Aisha Huang in terms of granting them bail. It's almost an impossible situation right now.
Indeed,
knowing that we don't have any clue about their attachments
to Ghana. Indeed, the judge goes on to say that, listen, these persons have to stand trial. They have to remain in custody until the case is fully disposed of. Maybe the judge may change the position later on, but now the position is that they have to stay in custody. Indeed, she remanded them into prison custody, but the clever Blay made an appeal, that it should be changed from prison custody to NIB, National Investigations Bureau. Well, the Attorney General, Godfrey Dami, said he had no opposition, so the judge had to change that decision to now remand them into police custody.
Let's talk about the Attorney General himself. He's fighting to the very end, correct? That's what she's been telling you.
Right. What he is saying is that as far as government is concerned, they're going to use every tool, every arsenal in the laws of Ghana to ensure that persons who are engaged in illegal mining are dealt with fairly and squarely. And that, this is a message, this is a warning to all of you out there, still on farms, still on plantations, still engaged in illegal mining. The government is coming after you, and when they get you, they are going to ensure that the laws of Ghana deal with you fairly and squarely. Let's listen.
Well, they've denied it. They've denied it. I mean, if there's any substance to any such allegations, I think the best way to proceed is to conduct investigations. But, well, those are not for me to decide. I mean, I think that the matters are still out play, and the minister has denied it flatly. I have full confidence in the minister in my ministry, and I don't think he will ever be involved in any such conduct. And early days yet, maintenance officials for this excellent work they are doing. As you may be aware, one of the key pillars on which we are seeking to deal with this issue of illegal small-scale mining is law enforcement and prosecution, particularly as it relates to foreigners. And as you can see, the Attorney General himself was in court, and he himself is conducting this trial and prosecuting this case in a very spirited and enthusiastic manner. I think it helped my work, because when you have an Attorney General who is diligent and who is serious at prosecution and ensuring that all perpetrators are brought to book, I think that is a big boost, and I'm very thankful to him for the work he's doing. We will continue with our efforts on all fronts, on the law enforcement, the reforms, and as well as the prosecutorial path, which we are fully committed to. As you can tell, this Aisha Huang lady, the government of President Akufo-Addo is committed to bring her and other persons who are involved in illegal mining to face the full rigors of our laws in this country.
We indicated our readiness, preparedness to commence the trial. And in respect of Aisha Huang, you had filed most of the documents to be relied on. We had filed witness statements of 4 witnesses. We only needed to file about 4 more. And for that matter, we requested for a week. The judge, of course, in exercise of her discretion, decided to adjourn to 24th or so for us to come and conduct the case management conference. And we are ready to proceed with the trial on the case on a day-by-day basis. And the judge has also indicated the inclination to conduct the trial in that manner. So we are very happy with the progress of the matter. And I think it's very important that we indicate to the world our full commitment to prosecute all these illegal mining offenses. It's something that is of utmost importance to the nation. Yes, even though, of course, this lady found herself back into the country after her indefinite stay that had been granted in 2014 had been revoked in 2018. Yes, we'll prosecute her for both the past and current offenses. I think the most important point for me as a prosecutor is that, yes, she's still kept in custody. Of course, we would have wanted that the trial would be dealt with speedily, because a fair trial implies speed as well. And for that matter, I would have appreciated for her plea to be taken today. But it is not a major setback. We'll have her plea taken on the next agenda date. And the offense with which she's been charged will be dealt with as soon as possible. The Aisha Huang matter, we are ready to start trial, even if we are given the opportunity next week, as we indicated. The judge said we should come back to conduct what we call the case management conference on 24th. And I believe after that, we should do it on a case-by-day basis. The other matter has been adjourned to 1st November. I'm sure by that agenda date too, we'll be ready to proceed with the trial of that one as well.
Attorney General's position there. Earlier we heard from the Sector Minister as well.
So clearly, you know, we know that some allegations have been made against Miracle Duka, but first off, the Sector Minister was making the point that his ministry, his outfit is willing to offer all kinds of support to government in terms of fighting illegal mining, in terms of every support it needs with logistics, with also information and everything. They are going to provide that information. But we also know that some specific allegations have been made against Miracle Duka, the Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources Minister. So I put that question to the Honorable Samuel Abu-Jinapor, whether or not this had come to his notice, whether he was going to look into it. Well, his answer was that, listen, Miracle Duka has flatly denied this, and I actually believe him. So there's no point in up to me opening up another investigation. And that this matter is still up there. If any persons have some specific evidence linking Miracle Duka to illegal mining, Galamsey, they should provide it. But as far as he is concerned, he fully trusts his deputy that he is not involved in illegal mining.